Hi folks, this is Ron Smith again, coming at you live, and I'm excited about today's program because I have some information to share with you that should make you excited. So congratulations for showing up to your own recovery, and thank you to those that are helping someone overcome drug addiction and listening in and maybe get some tips and strategies on how to support them as they move through this journey of recovery. So we're going to be taking a look at a couple things today, how to lower the risk and what are high-risk situations. Because really the high-risk situations are what got me or others in trouble in the first place. So the goal is to lower the risk for something happening to us or making the wrong decisions. Matter of fact, I was working with an inmate one time, and he was sharing with me a story that when he was locked up for 17 years, he ended up being one of the counselors there at the prison I worked at. And he was telling the story about him jumping in the car with a buddy of his when they drove up. I guess the guy was mad at someone, and he pulls up to him and says, "Get in, man, we got some a score to settle." So he jumps in the car without asking. And that's a high-risk situation. You don't know where you're going. So he jumps in the car, they sped off, and they went to a buddy's house, another friend or a rival. The guy opens the door and he shoots him in the face. The guy shoots him in the face. Goes back to the car and speds off. They end up getting busted. And the counselor that was sharing this with me said he ended up doing 17 years in prison as an accomplice to a murder. So all he had to do was not jump in the car. That was a high-risk situation for him.
Ava?
Well, you're just gonna...
But I thought it was pretty interesting to see two sides of the coin. So we often talk about the overdoses that are going on. The numbers are just phenomenal, how many people are overdosing, especially right now during the coronavirus. But then there's a number that I found of how many people are actually succeeding in their recovery. But listen to this. The Center for Disease Control says that over 81,000 drug overdose deaths occurred in the United States in the 12 months ending in May 2020. Now, this is the highest number of overdose deaths ever recorded in a 12-month period. That's a high number. 81,000 people are overdosing in a year. That's quite a bit of number. That's why I come here, to be able to share and try to help those in that number to make better life choices. And it's available. Now, let me share with you, because I'm telling you it's available because listen to this. The risk situation, or you making a decision to live drug-free, is actually more normal than the overdoses. It says here in rehabs.com, an American Addiction Center resource, says that in 2012, a study released by partnership at drugfree.org and the New York State Office of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Services indicate that 10% of adults who answered the survey consider themselves to be in recovery from drug addiction. If these results reflect national recovery rates, 23.5 million Americans may have overcome the disease of addiction. Now that right there is worth shouting. I'm thinking that that's a supernatural manifestation for 2021, just to know that number. Now, the 81,000 seems pretty small now compared to the 23.5 million that are actually walking in recovery. And I'm one of those 23.5 million. We often hear the negative number, or that negative side. But if all these drug programs have been in business for all these years, where are the successes? I want to hear the success stories. Matter of fact, see, what we need to do is lower the risk for these things ever happening to you, and then you could stay in that 23.5 million number. But if you raise the risk and go in situations that's going to influence you to use, then that can put you in the 81,000 overdose number. We don't want that to happen. high risk situation, high risk situation, high risk situation. So our goal is to lower the risk. Just that simple. Mm-hmm. If I can lower the risk of me never using again, like something happened yesterday, it was funny, something happened at the house. I had downloaded some app on my iMac, and so I could do some more graphics in iMovie, right, for these YouTube videos. And then everything that was on my desktop disappeared. And so I turned my computer off. I didn't think much of it. I just turned my computer off, turned it back on. It still wasn't there. So then I go on my Google Docs, and I saw all my stuff was backed up, and I was trying to put it back on the desktop. And so when I tried to put it on the desktop, it said it was already there. So it's duplicating it, but it's not there. But it's saying it's there. And I got so upset, I had to call Apple. Apple helped me walk through it. They, came into my computer, remoted in to see what was going on. But I was so upset prior to that, I was like, and not that I wanted to use drugs, but I kind of laughed about it with my wife. I said, at that moment, right, if someone were to come knock on my door with a crack pipe with it said ding dong, and they opened the door and just handed it to me like this, I might have took it.
Yeah, I know that feeling, especially when you're deadlocked in a computer.
Right, I was like, not that I would go get it, but it was just a weird little thing. Like, it had to be that, out the blue, knocking on the door, handing it in with the lighter, everything ready to go.
Right.
And I wouldn't really do that, but at the same time, it was weird that
you would have thought. Yeah.
My mind, because I'm so, I'm in a high risk situation right now. I'm upset. Yep. I lost everything. Not upset to where I'm thinking about drugs, but because I'm in the drug and alcohol counseling arena, I'm thinking, man, this is a high risk situation. Yeah. And if someone were to be offered drugs at this level of risk, because they're upset with the world, they're mad, things aren't going their way, they might give in to relapse. Yeah. So one of the goals is to try not to get involved in the negative side. Cain and Abel was one that actually was a good story to talk about. Cain got upset. See, he was mad, and a lot of times addicted individuals get upset about things. They do things they really don't want to do. And Cain got upset. He put himself in a high-risk situation. He brought an offering to the Lord, and his offering wasn't accepted, but Abel's was accepted, and that got Cain upset at Abel. Matter of fact, if God didn't accept mine, I would have got upset at God. But he got upset with Abel, lured him in the field, and killed him. But before he went in the field, in Genesis 4:6-7, then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." How do we stay in the 20.5 or the 23.5 million number of those in recovery? By knowing that sin is crouching at your door, waiting for you to make a mistake. But see, we lower the risk of ever making that mistake. And when you lower the risk of ever making a mistake, guess what? You can walk in freedom, and you won't have to kill anyone. You won't be killed. You won't jump in other people's cars without thinking about it first. Your friends are going to be upset with you. You're going to make some changes that they may not accept that change or have challenge with that. But listen to what 1 Peter 4:4 says in the Living Bible. Of course, your former friends will be very surprised when you don't eagerly join them anymore in the wicked things they do. See, they'll be upset because you don't join them in those wicked things anymore. You have learned to lower the risk of you ever just doing anything crazy with them. It's not coming against them. It's not like you are negating or neglecting your friends, but now you have risen to another level of consciousness, risen to another level of understanding. Now that you have woke up, in a sense, you no longer have to do those things anymore. And so Destination Hope talks about some of the most common high-risk situations. And I just want to talk about the first one, being around people, places, and situations previously associated with your drug and or alcohol use. So one of the ways to lower the risk of you ever using again, because I know sometimes drug-free for life or drug-free forever are words that are very difficult to swallow, but you can do it for life, okay? So, but it's not hanging around those folks that are gonna get you to do things wrong. Now you're starting to think for yourself and make decisions based on the risk situation, not based on friendship, because you can make a decision based on the risk factor of you getting in trouble or even getting the other person in trouble, and make decisions based on the fact that it just makes sense for your freedom, okay? And so there's certain tips for dealing with high-risk situations, but you plan ahead and have structure in your life. And number two, if you find yourself in a dangerous situation, get out. Don't wait or act hopeless like you don't know what to do. Don't make excuses for being there. Get out. And there's other things that you can take a look at. But I just want to share that with you today because you, my friend, are among the 23.5 million that are actually in recovery. Now, that study was done in 2012, which is what, 9 years ago? So that number is actually probably risen to a higher number. You can just imagine how many could be walking in recovery today, opposed to the recent number that we have in 2020 of the overdose that are going on, 81,000. So don't get discouraged, get encouraged. Encouraged to do what, Ron? Encouraged to do the next right thing. Encouraged to see yourself as a winner. Encouraged to see yourself among the higher number of those walking free from drugs and giving God the glory. So with that said, I want you to like this page. I want you to share this page. I want you to subscribe to this page. And until next time, you, my friend, are among the 23.5 million successful individuals that are walking free from drugs for life. So get it together and keep it together all the days of your life. And I'll see you on the next video.